Welcome to Cartoonists by Night. I'm your host, Anthony Latch. Just so you know, I'm currently missing my 14th screening of Super Mario just to be here tonight. I am joined here by my creative friends. We have Matt Rogers. Now, most artists will draw for money, but Rogers, he will draw for Crispix. That's true. Matt
Sure.
Fife is here as well. Matt Fife, he was recently crowned king of Muncie Comic Con, and I'm assuming was given a key to the city. And then, and then there's Troy, and he is just happy to be here. Welcome to the
That's
show,
right.
everybody. How are you gentlemen doing? This is the first episode of Cartoonist by Night.
Good. Happy. Very happy to be here.
Excited,
Excellent.
nervous.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit nervous.
I
Yeah,
had
well,
better stuff to do, but I'm here.
that's all right. We'll try to make up
No,
for
you
it.
don't.
I don't.
Okay,
Uh,
so there's going to be a lot of people watching this, wondering, being like, "Hey, that person's kind of recognizable here. I know that name from this comic and this person from that podcast." Blah blah blah. So what we're going to do here is kind of describe what Cartoonist by Night is. Cartoonist by Night is a drawing show. We're hanging out, having fun. Every time we record, we'll kind of pick a topic that we all agree upon, and that's going to be the subject matter for what we're all going to draw. Now, this is our first episode. We saw the fancy intro, we saw all that stuff happen, and now we're here with the video and unscripted from here on out. And what we're going to do is hang out and draw and have fun. And we're going to do many a plugs as well. So, all of this stuff's going to happen, and what we're going to do is hang out, have fun as the episodes go on, as the series go on. We do plan on inviting some of our creative friends and hopefully soon to be friends as we invite more people to hang out and draw. Maybe we'll do some random episodes, whether they're little tutorials for fun little drawing tutorials. Maybe we'll just have a stream hangout and Q&A. We'll see what happens. This is all very new to us. Now, with this very episode, this very first episode, we're trying to get all of the wires in the right places. So we want to get to a point where when we share screens that everybody sees what we're drawing. We're going to kind of take turns during this first episode because we're just trying to make sure we have all the settings correct. Now that is all the boring stuff out of the way. Let's get into the fun stuff and why we are here. This is going to be our first episode, and the reason why we're all together, why all four of us have met each other digitally, and only two of us. Well, I've met one of these people in person. Two of these guys have known each other for quite some time, but the reason why we're all together is due to one topic, and that is Oh Yeah Comics. Oh Yeah Comics is created by Art Franco as well as Mark Hammond. All three of them came together, decided to create a comic book store in beautiful downtown Skokie. And through that comic book store, they had some mascots with Action Cat and Adventure Bug and a whole slew of characters. And they started making original comics from there. They started doing short stories, inviting friends into their world and doing stories like that and putting them out in the world. And that is how they got their books into our hands. Uh, Art and Franco have done much cartooning throughout the decades and became real successful with Patrick the Wolf Boy. But then Tiny Titans happened, and that's kind of launched them into a new era. That was right around the same time as their store was happening when they were wrapping up the series. And then things got crazy. They started doing a podcast. They started opening multiple stores. So they have the one in Skokie, Illinois. They have Harrison, New York, and Muncie, Indiana. So they have a lot of creative partners. They're all working together. And that is why we're here, because all four of us are Oh Yeah Comics fans. And we're going to kind of talk about how we got into that. And then just a little nugget of why this is extra important is because we have all been basically invited in on the creative level to submit something, whether it's story wise or pinup wise. Uh, we went from fan to kind of creative under the Oh Yeah banner. So that is how that show was created. This is how this show was created, Cartoonist by Night. So what we're going to do here, we're all going to have a topic, which is Oh Yeah Comics, Art and Franco, whatever you want. How about you guys? Are you guys going to talk about what we're drawing right off the bat? What do you think?
Sure.
Max,
I'm drawing.
you're already drawing.
I'm
So
already
he's
drawing.
already drawing. So we're going to jump into it, and we're going to just kind of show off the screens as we're going.
Oh,
We've got some people working digitally. We've got some people working physically. We got some people just showing their work and a bunch of different media. We're all making fun art. We're all cartooning.
I can show what I have so far real quick if you want.
Let's get it started. So we're going to
All
jump
right.
into this into his share screen here, and
All right.
Matt Rogers here is going to show off what he's been sketching along. Now, once again, for those
That's what no, that's not it. It's this one. Here we
Oh.
go.
What
We're
was
drawing
that?
a little panel. And it's happy, and he's in a store of some sort.
Is it Target? Is that the store?
Yes,
Okay.
Target.
So that is a little look behind the scenes of how this is going to happen. Hopefully someday we'll get to the point where we can just see everybody's screen and see all of our beautiful faces as we're drawing. So we're just going to jump into this. I'm going to kind of steer the ship as we go along, and I've got a couple things that are kind of queued up. So feel free to start sketching if you haven't already. We will have the bonus of Troy over here because he's got his camera all set up to show us some physical media that he will be drawing along.
That's right, fellas. I actually prepared. Take notes, please. Take notes for
Oh, yeah.
next
Troy's the
Exactly.
only one that spent money.
time. Actually, like surprisingly little money.
And there we go. That's his
Oh.
little toesies there, his kneecap.
Ooh,
Great.
that's awesome.
That's
So, yeah.
going to end up on a website that we don't want to see it on. So what are we drawing? Anything all yeah related?
Anything oh yeah related, if you want to extend it just Art and Franco, I will show off what I've done the pencils ahead of time. Since I'm kind of hosting this, I've got some experience with hosting podcasts and such, and I'm going to make all of you experts as we go along with this show. But I figured I needed to do the pencils ahead of time. Otherwise, I'm going to spend the entire show just trying to figure out the perspective and everything. So I am just going to reveal my pencils right here. The character of Abraham Linkage, and I love Abraham Linkage. One of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character, created under the Oh Yeah banner. So I've got him in the style of that Batman and Robin meme, or the slapping meme, because because Linkage has his fly smackers, which you can buy at artbaltazar.com, by the way. And I've got one of the villain characters that he's slapping there. So I've got all the pencils done. So I'm going to kind of go in with the inks and the colors. But feel free to chime in and talk about what you're doing, and then I will start filtering in some questions for that I have for you guys, as well as some from our future fans. They don't know they're going to be longtime fans yet, but we've got questions. So
Oh, they will be.
so the thing to know about me, listeners, viewers,
yes.
is I'm not an artist. I'm a writer. I
What?
can't draw at all, but I can kind of trace, and that's what I'm going to spend my time doing.
There we go.
How do I here we go. Here's Sharon's screen. I'm tracing. Let's see.
So you're
an
just a
Art
tracer?
Baltazar. Nope,
Oh,
that's not it. Is that it?
we see it. We see some yeah, we see the transformation into Action Cat.
Yes. It's weird. I can't see it, but that's what I'm drawing or tracing or whatever.
You're just a tracer.
I'm
No,
just a
you
tracer.
you've done some fun sketching with you kind of had a daily thing going on for for a while. And
Yeah, whenever I'm off work,
yeah.
I'll have time to draw. But when I'm not, when I have to work, I don't have time.
And that is kind of basically the origin of the name and the development of the show. The fact that it's Cartoonist by night, meaning that we all basically have day jobs. But I myself, I think a lot of people probably draw, as they're a kid, whether they're good, whether they just advance from stick figures or anything. Like, I think it's pretty natural for anybody to start drawing. And for me, I would always draw as a kid and kind of do some, you know, little comics. I love like Calvin and Hobbes and stuff like that, and Beetle Bailey and the Archie comics. But I would find myself just drawing, my own little characters. I draw a lot of army scenes and battle scenes and like stick figures and tanks and things like that. But I would kind of put it away for a good portion of my life. But I will get to it eventually. But thanks to Oh Yeah Comics, Art Baltazar and Franco, that kind of reignited the drawing passion, and now I'm kind of hosting a show about drawing, which is kind of weird. So yeah, it's kind of crazy the evolution of the hobby that I have. So
Yeah.
now when it comes to Oh Yeah Comics, we're going to kind of talk about basically how we came to find Oh Yeah Comics and Art Franco. Let's kick it over to Troy first, if you kind of want to, as you're sketching along, and kind of want to maybe tell us a little origin story of how Oh Yeah Comics came into your life.
Well, I'll switch it over to the regular camera so I can show you guys.
Cool.
Let's see. I came to Art and Franco at a convention that neither Art and Franco were at. I met a dude named Chris Giarusso, and here's some of his art. Very similar in style in that he does a lot of kid versions of characters, and this stuff. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it predates like Scotty Young doing that kind of thing. But met him at a convention and was inspired to start cartooning myself. And I don't know, like 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. And after, I guess, becoming a instant fan of Chris Giarusso, I went looking for more Chris Giarusso stuff and found that he had illustrated a series with Art and Franco as the writers called The Visitor. And so that was pretty good. I enjoyed that, and then moved from there to some of the other Oh Yeah things that were on the shelf there at the comic shop. So I'd say I'm a relatively new follower of is it a movement, the Oh Yeah movement?
Yeah, it's a
So
movement.
there's always things moving. So
Yeah, I'm relatively new to it in that I've been into it for a few years. But they kind of, I mean, comics and cartooning for the most part had gotten to a point where they were just kind of like boring to me, and they with their self-published stuff with Tiny Titans, Superman of Smallville, which I really, really love. I think that's probably one of the best Superman stories that's out there. That's anyway. I'm mumbling. Can you tell I'm a little bit nervous?
I
no,
think you're doing great, Troy.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I came through them via another fandom, but I think because I've even seen some Oh Yeah comics that are drawn by Chris Giarusso with a character. Remember what it's called? It's a bat, though. Chris Giarusso has like a bat character that comes from North Carolina and visits beautiful downtown Skokie. So, that he's associated. So he brought me into the Oh Yeah, and I've moved on from there. Started reading. Franco does a lot of projects with other creators as well, and everything that he and Art do together are good. The things that he's written on his own have been good. I haven't come across something I didn't enjoy from these guys yet.
yeah, they're just perfect collaborators, and you can go to their podcast and we'll plan to have them on the this very show to tell their origin story too. But the way those two met, is a very hilarious story, and there'll be a story for another day. But it's kind of crazy just how those two people would find each other and then ultimately, create a movement, to use that word again, but create like a legion of fans and inspire just new generations of fans and cartoonists and such. And they just have this magic that always seems to work, and after all these years, and that's awesome.
I want to show this real quick. These are actually my son's, but you can get these on Franco's website, which is Blind Wolf Studio. Excuse me, guys.
Blind
Had
Wolf
a-
Studios.
Man,
That's
he-
right. Blind Wolf Studios, but he has on his shop a spot where you can buy like a complete set of all yeah comics, and it doesn't include everything. Like it's not the Patrick the Wolf Boy and what is it, Flora Bora from Bora
Yeah.
Bora, Coconut Girl,
Cora the
whatever.
Flora.
Cora the Flora from Bora Bora. That sounds right. Is that right?
I don't know. I think it's
It
right.
does- It's not everything in the set, but it's a huge set, and it's like $30, 30 something bucks, and you can get all of the All Yeah comics, the titled All Yeah comics, for super cheap over there. If anybody's watching and is kind of like interested in, want to find a good cheap way to explore the All Yeah comics, I think that's probably the best way.
And you're never going to put down an all yeah issue and be like, that one wasn't very good. It's-
Exactly.
the quality is always the same. And
Yes.
you either like it or you don't. And if you
Yeah.
don't, you're just wrong.
Exactly.
As simple as that.
So I'm drawing Webster the Spider Monkey, which is a character that you ever like you see somebody else come out with a character and you're like, damn, I wish I thought of that before they thought of that.
Yes.
Webster is that character. I have a lot of fondness from my childhood, fond memories about Spider-Man, and Webster is just perfect. So
Yeah.
nothing
Now,
wrong with that character.
For people that don't know, Webster, he's amazing. He's spectacular. He's sensational. Like, what more can you ask for?
I wonder if
No?
we'd be able to use Artie's song in this.
Ooh. Should
If
we?
only there was somebody here that was an accomplished musician that could maybe do that. If only.
Get on it, Fife.
I think other Matt.
I'm gonna do Webster 2099
That would be cool.
or Webster Noir.
Less cool, but still cool. I kind of need like reference, but I'm out of a clip.
Let's jump over to Fife there. Do you have an origin story of how you came across Art Franco or All Yeah Comics? Or
I do. I do have
Yes.
an origin story. Way back in the day, 2008 or so, I read everything that DC Comics published. I took continuity very seriously, and I did not read their kids' books. So I missed out on Tiny Titans. I missed out on Tiny Titans for like 2 years. And then I think it was around that time they started the Oh Yeah podcast, or I heard Art and Franco be interviewed on Word Balloon or something, and realized that I'd been missing out. And that's when I started picking it up. And just 2 weeks ago, tracked down the last few issues that I needed to finish that collection of Tiny Titans. Ordered them from Art directly. But I've been buying almost everything they put out ever since, and listening to their podcast, and that's about it. Just Tiny Titans is what brought me in, and it's like Johnny Suntress gets all the credit.
yes, John Suntress has a excellent comic book conversation podcast, Word Balloon. If you're into comic books and the creation, and then there's a bunch of kind of spin-off topics of pop culture and Star Trek, and yeah, there's a whole variety of guests and everything. But that's where like bringing those guys on and them eventually, people responding and saying just how funny they are, and John kind of reaching out and saying that they should do a podcast, and John kind of acted just kind of as like the engineer and kind of like he was in
The
the
Anthony
phantom
Latch.
zone. What's
Yeah.
that?
You like the host, the Anthony Latch or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
right?
But yeah,
The
he
runner
kind of,
of it.
he kind of just let them kind of run with it for the first couple episodes, and then, then he came in
Right.
and became part of the show, and then later
Yeah.
on we find, Scoop McMahon would come in, and that would change like the whole oh yeah comic podcast era, and we would get, everyone else kind of joining in, and that podcast they would do, audios, they would do annual live podcasts at C2E2, and then they would eventually do video versions. And during that time too is like, once COVID had started, and it was actually right before COVID when Art started doing these little videos. Famous Cartoonist says things, and would just do just the tiniest of videos, just whatever he did, or having his coffee, this or that. And then they started turning into shows. He had a show, Famous Cartoonist says things, Famous Cartoonist draws things, and um and that's just kind of what kicked off my interest to start drawing, and especially with drawing digitally, and which eventually led to the show. But just knowing how much, like with those guys being funny, them having the success with Tiny Titans, creating the podcast, starting up the stores, they just had so much stuff going on, whether it was their own creative work and working for other publishers and such. And yeah, it's just kind of crazy to see that like so many people can come in from different directions, based on whatever they happen to be collaborating with, which is basically how I got into it, is through Itty Bitty Hellboy. So being a Hellboy fan, and then seeing this, cartoon kid friendly version of Hellboy, which was just funny and in appearance and everything. And the title was great, obviously. And so I'd start picking up those. I was never much of a DC reader, so I was never in during the era of the Tiny Titans or anything. But I was there at C2E2 seeing those lines grow and grow, and seeing their presence, and seeing these two, you know, very tall cartoonists standing there and all, dressed up and spiffy looking. And but I would never meet them. I would just always kind of walk by and just be like, oh, those are the guys that do those kids books. And I'm just like, it's just such a fun visual to see them doing these adorable images and stories. And then you just see that these, you know, mountains of men, these how tall they're standing, and just like, and but yeah, I would never have like a meet and greet or anything like that. But yeah, so
Are
I
they
didn't
really
come in.
that big?
Say that again.
Are they really that big?
Yeah.
Oh, they're giant.
I think one time I heard Art say it's the two biggest men in comics are making comics for the smallest readers of comics. They're
Yeah.
they're
And
giant people.
oh yeah, and especially when they would stand up at their booth next to each other, it was very intimidating. Not in a, just to go up and just be like, oh man, these guys could stop on me in any second. But instead, they're just going to draw these cute little sketch cards and have fun and make jokes. And you see them drawing for kids, and you just see everybody get excited because yeah, if you just go to YouTube and type in like, oh yeah, comics or Art and Franco, they have a couple sessions they've done with DC. I think out of San Diego Comic Con, where they've drawn for a crowd of kids, and they give away sketches, and you just see how these kids react to their humor. Like their humor is not like just for kids. It's not just for adults. Like it, just like their comics, it is all ages. And the fact that all of us who are pretty much in that same age group, just a couple years apart between us four here, um, will still laugh at the same joke that a little kid, a 7-year-old's going to laugh at, a little girl, a little boy are going to laugh at, and we're all laughing at the same thing, and it's for everybody. And it's just kind of a magic hit that they've kind of really cemented in their relationship and their community. But yeah, so
I
I
think
came.
that's a good word. That's a good word for it, a community. that
Community.
they've sort of created, where people that don't kind of fit in with the rest of, a lot of comics have become very dark and brooding, and it turns off a lot of people. And as a kid, I loved it, but as an adult, I'm like, you know what? There's enough of that mess in real life. I don't need that in my fantasy life.
Mhm.
So it's very that community aspect, I think. You know what, man? I'm on night shift, so you like fill in the blanks. If that made sense to you. You may need to edit this out.
I'm glad you said that because I was gonna like say that during some point of the podcast for anybody who's a fan of the Oh Yeah podcast.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was just if you're playing a drinking game, you should be taking a swig right now when we said one of those catchphrases. But yeah, we'll edit that out. Nobody cares. Nobody's listening.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but yeah, they and that community with I've been to the Skokie store many a times, even before just being a normal customer and just being like, oh, this is a cool looking store. But I've gone several times now with being somebody who is you know welcomed at the door and and hanging out and has made friends with the employees, the managers, and the fellow customers and local artists and all that stuff. And I've told manager Joe over there, Joe Crone, I've just talked about just how great their community is and how welcoming it is every time that somebody comes in that door. It's it's so fun.
It's awesome. He seems like a real cool dude.
Oh yeah, he's Yagams. I'll just say that Yagams. Um, so yeah, like I said, I came in through Itty Bitty Hellboy, and then I really pardon the pun, but I latched onto the his videos at the end of 2019, and then going into 2020, where I just really started getting into everything Art and Franco related, and yeah, just kind of really amped up the fandom within the last 3 or 4 years or so. Let's jump over to Matt Rogers. Feel free to let us know how what your origin story is for Oh Yeah Comics.
Mine is not exciting. Delivered pizza and would listen to podcasts, and Fife said you should check out Word Balloon. So I listened to that, and I really liked the oh crap, now I feel like a jerk because I can't remember his name. Marty Pasco. When he did the Marty Pasco interviews, that was really cool. And then I listened and heard the Art and Franco ones, and I was like, man, that's funny. And then Fife was like, they have a podcast where it's just them all the time, right? And I was like, okay. So then listen to that. And that's mostly it, because it's a really weird thing because I make a comic book, but I don't really read comic books. But I've read some comic books.
And we still
okay.
we still let you hang out and talk to us, even knowing all that. It's
I know who some characters are. Like there's that one guy and then the other guy, and then they do stuff, and there's a woman there, and then there's little people and aliens.
yeah, and then there's
Green Lantern?
I
Yeah,
like when aliens come in.
I
Aliens are
know
fun.
who Abin Sur is, so that gives me some points.
Oh yeah.
there you go.
I know who John Stewart is. I know
There we
that the
go.
Ryan Reynolds movie was really bad. It's all good.
Yeah, and that's great because like all four of us have kind of come in through different directions, and that just kind of proves just you know how many plates they're spinning out there in the creative world, and there's so many different ways to get into their stories.
Yeah.
So yeah, we will in future episodes kind of focus on like some of our individual stories, and we're gonna have many episodes that and plenty of time to do all that stuff. But we are going to continue to focus on Oh Yeah Comics, and we did reach out to some of the people who have followed our pages. We dropped the trailer at cartoonistbynight.com, links to the YouTube and all that stuff, which is how you're watching this now. And I've collected some of the fan mail that came in. I tried to get everything, so hopefully I did. But the first real prominent one that came in when we kind of mentioned and revealed that our first topic was going to be Oh Yeah Comics is from a guy named Franco. He says, "My question is, when does Franco get to come on and chat with you all?" So yeah, Franco, I think might be our first like official fan mail. That's the first notification I kind of saw once we announced and kind of asked for people's, comments and opinions and questions. So yeah, Franco, who is most likely watching this, you are obviously welcome anytime here at Cartoonist by Night, and our people will talk to your people. But yeah,
Rogers, you want to share what you thought as soon as you heard that?
I gave it a thumbs up. Everybody else hearted it, so it made it look like I didn't give two craps about it at all. Like, oh, it's just Franco, click.
yeah, and I had to screenshot that in case you ever changed your mind, being like, "Oh, shit, I gotta, course correct history here." But yeah, evidence, screenshots never lie, so
It's true.
those can't ever be altered.
I meant the thing about Troy, you're out, Franco's in. Get
Oh,
lost.
that one. I mean, I was in love with the fact that Franco wanted on the whole time, and I wanted to kick Troy off, but
I am honestly, I'm all about that.
hey, you're just happy to be here.
I am just happy to be here, but I would also be happy to watch him here. I think he would have a lot of really cool, pardon me, really cool things to contribute to the conversation.
And then speaking of Franco, even though we talked about, Art Baltazar's famous cartoonist, says things, draws things, reveals things, doing his show, which he's got so many episodes you can find on YouTube. Go to Oh Yeah Comics and just type in Art Baltazar, you'll find all this stuff. Franco also has a show as well that he would do, Catching Up with Franco. And so he would have some guests on, and they would just kind of talk about the latest shows and movies, and everybody's watching, just hanging out, and you'd see some drawing going on and everything. And so yeah, he's done some episodes of that. We're hoping for more of that in the future because we would love to see it. I know I was always excited anytime Art and Franco went live, whether it was them drawing together, whether it was them with their individual shows. It's cool to see the people come out and supporting and seeing some of the recognizable names in the comments, which kind of led to us all kind of coming together, which we will ultimately have like a Cartoonist by Night origin story, but we're here to talk about Oh Yeah Comics, so we can't give everything away right off the first episode.
I got my first smudge.
Ooh, first smudge. So let's take a look at that.
Ooh. Man, I love the perspective on the background.
So what does a Troy do when he gets to a smudge? We've seen it when Art will have a smudge when he does his commissions through his YouTube channel. And well, how do you approach an incident as such?
I typically cry.
So thankfully, we're not seeing your actual screen right now. We're just seeing your drawing table.
Well, I guess first thing I should do is realize that I need time for it to dry. I'm drawing with a brush pen, which I don't normally use. So I like how they look. I'm just not very good with them. Well, I'm better than I used to be. I'm better than I've ever been with them before, but I'm not as good as I will be one day. I guess I should just let it dry for a little bit and maybe like put some clouds or something back there. Something needs to go over the smudge.
In the immortal words of Todd McFarlane, when in doubt, black it out. So just
I thought you were gonna say now. I thought you were just gonna talk about like Spawn, like get out of the way, get in line or get out of the way. Isn't that part of the the initial mission of when Spawn came out? So
sounds right.
Let's take a look at what Rogers has been doing, if you don't mind sharing your screen. It's been I've
I
showed
work
my.
really, I work really fast. Just to give everybody a heads up.
So you're like the Scoot McMahon of the Cartoonist by Night.
Yeah, but I use my fingers.
Ooh,
Oh wow!
That's good.
Dang, dude.
So yeah, I'm just working on stars right now. Getting
So for
that
those,
oh yeah wallpaper in there.
now I see some familiar characters. Do you want to describe on for anybody who may be tuning in, maybe for one of us, or just happen to stumble upon this show in their feed, their recommended feed? Give us a little description of what we're looking at here.
All right. Now this is where that whole thing where I don't read comics comes into play. But
That's
this is
Brother Bear.
okay, this is Brother Bear. And
Yep.
he's really happy. And this is me and Fife's character. His name is Happy Astronaut, and he is not happy. I'm not gonna give away the story until I show off the final piece, but yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
and
I
Brother
love
Bear, Brother Bear is based on the manager of the Harrison store, right?
Yeah,
Is that-
Mark Hammond had started originally with, he had, I think he had worked and run some comic shops, and there's a whole origin story. Once again, we're not just gonna, be like a Wikipedia for this. You can go check out All Yeah Comics and find their interviews and such. But the
Uh-huh.
overall thing is that they all kind of have the same sensibility of kind of starting their own store and just kind of just say, yeah, we should do it. And they created one. They found one in Skokie, Illinois, and so Mark Hamill was there for a while, and eventually moved out to the New York area, and they had started, set up another store, and they have Christy Blanche over at the Muncie store. So they had started to franchise this thing, and they kind of had, you know, Art and Franco kind of in their respective cities and in the respective states and running their shops and such. But yeah, Brother Bear, Mark Hammond, and then that's where we have our character here, and Awesome Bear being I don't, I guess maybe that's a spoiler. I won't go into that. So but yeah, that's definitely Brother Bear there.
Yeah.
And Art has said this several times, just talking about how he loves seeing other people's takes on their characters, and it's fun to see that, just the style of the way the Brother Bear looked and everything, and it's just, yeah, that's an amazing piece right there.
It is pretty cool.
It's
You do
okay.
good work, sir.
Showing my status here, we have Abraham Linkage, who is right there with his fly smacker, and this is one of like it's like a tuna fish gang. I have the comic right here, which I'll show off. I'm trying to think. They got a cool name here. This character is from the Tidbit Tuna Gang, and so yeah, he is slapping one of those characters there with the smacker. So.
That's cool.
Awesome.
And I did sketch in a little word balloon. You probably can't see it until I ink it, but there will be a phrase that Linkage is gonna say. But yeah,
Ooh.
that's where I'm at right now. Fife, can we check in with you here and see what's
See what I'm tracing?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
of
You're
course.
But yeah, once again, even though I think an artist will be, their worst critic, their harshest critic. And we know the critic always lives over the shoulder of Art Baltazar and everything. But yeah, you call yourself a tracer, but you're an artist. You've sketched, you've done sketches, and you have fun doing it. I own an original sketch, which I will show off eventually, and I think it's pretty nearby.
This would be an appropriate episode for it. For you to show it off.
Say that one more time if you could.
What's that? I'll
Say that one more time.
This would be an appropriate episode for you to show that off.
Yes, it would. So yeah, it's sitting
Original
by
sketch you
me
have.
because I recently showed it off on a podcast that I do, which I'll talk about later. But so I think it's within arm's reach here. But yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I've tried that a couple times, just kind of going in if somebody had some pencils out there and I try inking it. I've done it with Dan Parent before, and I just do it for fun. I don't know, official you know, I haven't studied anything. I just read comics a lot. So I just and watch Art Franco and just kind of watch the process. And I'll be learning from my Cartoonist by Night brothers here and everything too. But
That,
so
well,
When
my
I,
goal is to learn the program that I have, Clip Studio Paint, by doing this, you know, and by tracing, I'm practicing and getting the movements down. And maybe one day I'll feel like I can call myself an artist.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Then you won't need me anymore.
I think that's pretty much the goal.
It should be.
Self-sufficiency. When I first kind of discovered these guys, I sent a message to Scoot McMahon on Instagram because I don't know if you guys can tell from how I'm drawing, but and maybe if I finish this one before we're done, I'll do another one that's a little bit more of my in my comfort level. But I'm very slow with this brush pen. I have it just does not come naturally to me to go slow, and when I'm going fast, I tend to be really wobbly with my lines. And one thing, Fife, that he told me was find the people whose lines you do enjoy, whose lines you think are really great, grab a piece of tracing paper and try and reproduce those lines. Not necessarily the drawing, you know, per se, like the entire thing, but just try and reproduce those lines to get a feel for what it feels like to move your hand across the paper and the pressure differential and all that in order to get the line that you want. And I think that was really, I was able to apply that advice more to digital art than traditional art, just because it's a much quicker to learn with digital than traditional. But I think that was fantastic advice. So what you're doing, even though you didn't know it, was the advice of one of the all yeah guys.
Interesting. Maybe I was onto something with this thought.
You are onto something. There's no maybe about it.
Oh yeah, man. Now going through that's always the perfect like palette cleanser and like segue. It's just oh yeah, man. Um Now I go through the fan mail. Now we do have another one here from Kevin Wolf, who I think follows most of us, if not all of us. Kevin Wolf writes in, goes, "Hi, I'm excited for your debuting podcast. My name is Kevin Wolf, and his Instagram is happy_wolf_art1. I'm a big fan of the famous cartoonist, which is Art Baltazar. After graduate school, I was so tired of reading books and jaded literature that I began reading all ages comics. One day, when I went into my local comic shop, LCS, with my then 4-year-old, I came across Art Baltazar and Franco's Tiny Titans: Return to the Treehouse. I had so much fun reading the comic with my daughter, enjoying the artwork, that I began to search out other work by Art Baltazar for himself. Now, 10 years later, I have a comic box dedicated to all of his incredible titles. His artistic journey is seen in the Cartoonist HD on the Oh Yeah Comics YouTube channel. Was such a joy and inspiration to see, and I look forward to see every live show that he does. Now, if you search that Oh Yeah Comics, the Cartoonist HD, it's about a 10-minute video. I've watched it so many times. It's just entertaining. You get a look inside Electric Milk Studios, and you just hear about his journey of becoming a cartoonist and making dreams come true. And yeah, and Kevin Wolf said it perfectly right there. Just seeing, you know, how much joy and inspiration you get from such a video like that. He continues to write. I'll send some fan art I recently did of his Migor custom Migo figure. Now, if you want to learn more about that, once again, follow Oh Yeah Comics on YouTube, and you'll hear him talk about it. But what I'm going to do here, what he talks about this Migor character, I'm going to jump into the share screen to give people some reference. Here is the custom Migo that was made by Art Baltazar, and he did recently sell them. I think he made like 10 of them or maybe 15 of them. I was tempted to buy them, but they all sold out pretty quickly. So I'm glad that everybody who wanted them got them. But this is a custom Migo of the Migor character. And so Kevin Wolf here, as I navigate my share screen, did some fan art of that. So here we go. This is Kevin Wolf on
Oh,
Instagram.
heck yeah.
Yes, I've seen that.
Oh yeah, it's one of those that's just like, yeah, it was a recognizable image. I remember seeing it, floating around and shared, and yeah. So
It
that was
reminds me of,
Kevin.
I have these Conan the Barbarian books, and on the inside the cover, on like one of the first pages, it has like a little stamp sort of picture of Conan. And it's similar to that, where it's like it doesn't have his legs, but it has his torso and stuff. That's what it reminds me of. Pretty cool.
Kevin's a good guy.
Very cool.
all right. So I'm gonna end that one here, and Kevin continues to write because he sent an awesome letter here. Now we're back to our screens. We can see what we're all doing. Um, He goes, this is such a cool figure, and I can't wait to see more of his Powers in Action title, and really all of his titles. Best of luck to your podcast. So thank you, Kevin Wolf.
Thanks,
Wish you luck.
Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Becoming an early supporter. He's here on the ground floor, and he did send another message saying, I also got the black and white Cartoonist by Night shirt designed by Mr. Dungara. And he goes, love it. And all the kid slapshot. Now, if you're looking at my screen, everybody that's watching this here, I've got it set up that if you go to tunesbytroy.threadless.com, that's tunes with a Z, you'll see the links on our website and everything at cartoonistbynight.com as well. But I've got some of this stuff hanging up here. We have a black and white Cartoonist by Night logo shirt that was created by Troy. We've got the color version hanging up over here. Right above my head, we have a kid slapshot hanging out there. So yeah, it was cool to see. Actually, I'll throw that over to Troy. What was it like putting that image up there and seeing the people start to buy it without knowing exactly what it was? Speak on
It
that,
was
please.
it was kind of cool because the people that were getting it were other people who considered themselves to be art hobbyists, which I think is what, I don't know if you consider me to be pro or pro-am or whatever, but I still kind of call myself an art hobbyist. And people were just like, hey, that's kind of me. And it looks like the Werewolf by Night logo on there. So it was neat to see that just the concept of it resonated with people. Had some other cartoonists send me emails with them wearing it before it had even been announced what the thing was. I'm like, that's right on. Advertise for us, sir.
Now
But,
we have
yeah,
to
it's
we have to
really
do
cool.
a good we have to go do a good show to live up to their t-shirt now. So
Yeah.
Are we?
I think it's good.
Good.
Once we iron out the details and get everybody's like share screen going on, do have solutions for that. But for the first episode, I think the intro was pretty awesome, and the music that was provided through the band that Matt Rogers was in, and so seeing all that stuff, real flashy intro. So I think hopefully we can keep their attention.
Isn't that all we really need? It's just a flashy intro,
I think, yeah, we don't need to figure out anything else.
right?
Um,
Pretty sure that's it.
but yeah, so it was cool to see that t-shirt out in the wild. And I know when I saw the logo first, and once again, I think we'll spend a different episode kind of talking about how this very show created, because that's a whole episode discussion in itself. But when I had seen that logo, I'm just like, oh, you got to put that on the Threadless shop. I'm like, I got to wear that. And then, yeah, the idea of creating all this merchandise. Since we're talking about it, I just have it right here, so I'll talk about it. So at that same Threadless shop, I do have this sticker here, a 2-inch sticker of Troy's Kid Slapshot character. Haven't committed to sticking it anywhere yet because I am one of those people that just, you know, I haven't made the decision yet. But also through that same site, you can buy the Cartoonist by Night logo in several different forms, whether it's a t-shirt. We saw the mug that Troy showed off, but also there is a magnet. And the magnet, I believe, is the 3-inch magnet. I forget what the settings were. That one came out real crisp, real detailed. It was real sharp. I haven't committed to sticking that on a fridge yet. You know, it just once you stick a magnet on somewhere, it's stuck there forever, and you can't. Wait, no, you can move it. Yeah, I should just put this on a fridge. And then I also got a giant sticker. This one I think is like a 4 inch of the Cartoonist by Night logo. And I will say that if you are getting this one, I recommend grabbing the size smaller than this one. It's a, you know, this one came out maybe just a little like blurry, not too bad. You know, it looks good from afar, but when you look at the details compared to the magnet, so this is me just giving advice for anyone out there interested. I say that the ones that are in that 2 to 3 inch range look pretty good. It's still good, but those other ones look a little sharper.
Yeah.
Anthony, maybe send me a note and I'll just erase the ones that don't look as good.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
probably a better solution.
The other ones, you know, it's you know, the logo, the title's pretty good. And once you get into your drawing in the background, it gets a little not really fuzzy, but when you compare it right up to the magnet, you can just see how sharp the lines are for the
Mhm.
character and the trees and the moon. But
Mhm.
yeah, so in case anybody rushes out there, depending on when this gets out there. But yeah, those are items that are available alongside many other designs that Troy has up there. So not just cartoonists and kid slapshot stuff. There's a cool turtle on there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Um,
Super
so yeah,
Turtle.
super turtle.
Yep, it's got all the turtles into one super turtle with a cape and a mask, including like some spider webs. It's every character that you ever wanted joined together into one super turtle.
Oh yeah, man.
Beautiful.
All right.
I,
So I'm in the coloring stage of linkage right now, but I'm at a stage where I'm just like, all right, I think it'll be a better reveal once it's done, but the coloring is in progress. So I'll just show a kind of a close-up little view as a tease to show that I'm actually doing work in real time here. So just a real close up in the tongue and the action going. So
there's
yeah,
definitely something there. I don't know what it is, but it's something there.
there is a drawing of some sort. All right, going down with the fan mail again, we have an awesome message as well from someone who you'll know as what I call an Art Baltazar show superstar commenter, D Brad. Oh yeah, D Brad. D Brad.
Yay, D-Bread.
Yes. There is a fan group for Oh Yeah Comics. I like Pink very much, Lois. Taking off an awesome quote from the original Superman movie from '78. And in that group, you'll see many of us kind of share and comment, and in the Oh Yeah podcast and the live shows and the drawing shows. D Brad is one of those commenting superstars, and I was very excited to see D Brad drop us a message, which was at cartoonistbynight@gmail.com, by the way. So D Brad writes, "Hello to the boys of Cartoonist by Night. I'm looking forward to your drawing show. I don't have much of a drawing community in my island town, so I appreciate the chance to draw along with others online, whether it's live or recorded." And he
Heck
goes,
yeah.
"Great. Yeah. He goes, great topic today. Oh, yeah. I've been an avid listener of the Oh Yeah podcast since its early inception, maybe episode 3, he says, but I don't remember how I heard about it. I must have Googled Art and Franco after finding Tiny Titans comics and reading them to my daughters. Then I followed and friended the artist on Facebook and joined the I Like Pink group. I haven't met anybody in person yet, but take part in most live streams as possible. The Oh Yeah guys have inspired me to get into making my own comics in progress, he says. I'm currently refining my digital inking skills using Clip Studio Paint. He goes, it's coming along. He ends it saying, I am interested in hearing your origin stories too. So yep, D Bread, we gave our origin stories of how, you know, getting into Oh Yeah Comics and finding Art and Franco. We may expand on that more when we have those gentlemen on this very podcast. But yeah, so I do have some more fan mail, but I do kind of want to spread it out as we kind of have some casual conversation.
Anthony,
Oh yeah origin stories, not like
we have
literal-
more fan mail.
Oh, I've got like probably 2, 3, maybe 4 more questions.
Wow.
Back to Kevin, Dr. Kevin. If you want to see, if you dug his picture that he shared, he's got some fan art, and I believe one of his daughters also has some fan art in a Kid Slapshot comic. So
Nice.
that's a very talented family he's got there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What issue is that?
He is in Kid Slapshot versus Zomboni, and his daughter is in the one that is going to be announced well, I don't know when it's going to be announced. It's going to be sent in for solicitations any day now. I just have some sort of last minute edits and removals to take care of before I can give everything to the publisher.
Cool. But yeah, that's awesome seeing the Kid Slapshot issues and seeing the letters page and the fan art and the letters pour in, and yeah, it's exciting to see all that. Letters page is something that you don't see too often in modern comics. It was definitely a thing of the past. Marvel comics growing up and just seeing all their letters pages and people putting their full addresses in there and creating pen pals. As in George R.R. Martin, creator of Game of Thrones, is in like an early issue of Fantastic Four back in the 60s as a fan writing in. And that's like a legendary letter. It's so awesome to see someone, who would go on to create such a mega hit with the books and the show and all that stuff. But letters pages, it's so awesome to see anybody doing them this day and age. So yeah.
Yeah. Bring back the letters page.
Oh yeah, letters page.
We're gonna have a letters page.
Every time you say "oh yeah" something, it tickles me. I don't know why.
Dude, it is like I don't even realize that it happens. It's just like entered vocabulary. Like I'll do it at work. Just be like,
Yeah.
yeah. So people are just like, you're weird. Well,
And to give a little, go ahead.
The podcast has been going for 13 years now, probably.
Dang.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
started in
at least-
2012.
What's that?
Started in 2012.
Oh, okay. So 10 years, 11 years. And he's said that every episode so many times. It makes sense that it slipped into everybody's daily use.
I'll make a quick correction. The store started in 2012. The podcast would have started maybe 2 years prior. So yeah, you were right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I was
Yeah.
still delivering
I didn't have
pizzas
to do,
for-
I didn't have to do any retractions on the next episode, and do the. I saved myself right there. Wow.
darn right.
Um,
Oh,
I feel like I'm covering the drawing that I'm working on. So you
somebody tuned in to
Anthony
see
asked,
drawings.
what do you do when you smudge? I am just adding like some like hatching detail into the background. Not a very oh yeah type technique. It's almost more of a Ninja Turtles kind of technique. But I feel like by the time I get over to this terrible smudge, it'll help to hide the smudge.
I'll be right back. I gotta get a drink.
Where's the smudge?
Right here.
Oh,
Actually, there's
okay.
another one here, but that one bothers me less than that one.
Okay, I see it now. Yeah.
when
That would bother me too, Troy.
It's a bothersome little bugger.
when talking about the phrase of "oh yeah" in itself, Art Baltazar would just casually say that when people are just like, like, hey, check out this comic. Oh yeah, comic. You're like, hey, check out this. Want a burrito? Oh yeah, burrito. And that was just his normal like reaction to things. And I don't know if it's part of a Midwestern thing as well, because I'll find myself just always doing that. And it's a very relatable phrase, and the fact that they've created a whole culture around it with the comic shops and oh yeah comics, and yeah, it's a
I think the fact that it's so relatable and so common is maybe one of the appeals to it.
Oh yeah.
Got another smudge.
Oh,
Somewhere
yeah.
he said it was like the most positive thing he could say.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I can see that. I mean, it's very agreeing, right? Is that the
Yeah.
word?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I hadn't thought about the Three Stooges. Didn't Curly? Oh yeah.
Quiet you.
Quiet you.
Arizona Skoke.
Yeah. I had one of those things when I'm doing some digital coloring where I didn't close a line, so I'm coloring the fly smacker, and then my entire page turned green. So that was one of those fun little errors, being like, all right, I got to zoom in there and close a gap, but it's all been fixed.
See, that's where Clip Studio Paint comes in handy. It has an automatic gap closer.
All right. Yeah, and that's a good thing to talk about too. I use Procreate. I'm pretty new to Procreate. Started doing it in September, October, when I was kind of brought in to work on something, official. What something would be official and hopefully official. And so I had to up my game from a free sketch app for a long time into a $10 Procreate app, and it started just the art started flowing. I will show off a close up of the fly smacker and what action we're getting right now. So
Ooh.
That's a
I've
nice fly
correct-
smacker.
I've corrected it, and no longer is the entire drawing the color of a fly smacker.
Good. Just kidding.
Would you like to know what people not in the Midwest call a fly smacker?
Now, what's funny is that I would always call it the fly swatter, or you would
Oh,
say
okay, never mind.
Yep. And I would say it fast enough what you're saying. It's a flice water. So you're almost saying flice water. That's kind of like how I would always kind of, roll off the tongue. I wouldn't ever call it a fly smacker until I started hearing it from Art and buying fly smackers. I do have two fly smackers. I'll show it off with the linkage stuff once we're at the end of here. But yeah, so I never heard that until Art started saying it. And I think that I don't know if that's something that comes from his family or if I just, I just wasn't clued in on that culture. But so I only call it a fly smacker now though. So
A schmacker.
You've been won over.
yep, the fly
I also when he was, I guess he was on some podcast talking about, or YouTube show something talking about how he had bought a bunch of them and like got, I guess like got the logos and everything on it.
Mhm.
And he was calling them fly smackers, and I thought that's an interesting name for that.
Yeah. Yep. No longer will I say flice water.
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 Wooder.
You got two waters. That's a joke for one person that's watching this. All right.
Give
I
us
guess
another
I'm not
piece
the
of
person
fan.
because I don't get it.
All right, two people talked. What did any of you guys just say right now?
Somebody wants fan mail. That's more important than what I said.
Oh yeah, more fan mail?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sounds like a good. Let me finish this line here because I forgot to dry my digital ink. I smudged my digital ink. I forgot to let it dry. I
I
forgot
didn't know you could do
to
that.
I
More
forgot-
smudges.
Oh, I'm changing the industry where I can smudge. Well, I guess you can if I just have the way I do it. I could easily just have my wrist smudge it and draw an extra line, but it's easy to fix it. Unlike it takes a little extra work. It takes the talent of a cartoonist to fix a physical smudge. But yeah, I forgot to draw one side of a character's body, one of the tidbit tuna bit bodies. And I'm like, I should probably draw the full body there. Okay, so I've finished that. I'm going to jump back over to some fan mail here. And let's see here. My friend Nikki had sent in A couple questions here, and this is going to be for everybody. This isn't going to be related specifically to Oh Yeah Comics. This is reaching out to Cartoonist by Night. So Nikki writes, do each of you as artists prefer to draw just when you feel like it, as things kind of come to you, or is it actually helpful to have pressure put on you? Like if there's a deadline, there is a follow-up, but I'll kind of leave it like that. So we'll go around the horn here. Let's start with Troy. Do you prefer to draw when you just kind of feel like it and you're in the mood, or if you're like, okay, I've got a crunch down, I got a deadline, now I just kind of hit the ground running? How is your approach to that?
Hmm. I definitely prefer to be in the mood. But if I, if I need to, I'm trying, pardon me, I'm trying to think of an instance where I've ever had a deadline that I was struggling with. Maybe I'm not the right one to ask this to, because I've not experienced the hard deadlines before.
And let's go to Rogers then. How do you have an approach to that if you're just like, I got to get this done, you're drawing some pages now for a thing. Do you get the inspiration from the deadline where all of a sudden you can just, you have to hunker down and cruise through this thing, or it is just like, oh, I wake kind of like you wake up and you're ready to draw?
9 times out of 10, I do just fine and I draw and everything's good. And then there's other days where I will sit down and every single line I draw sucks. And so I finally learned when that happens just to turn my computer off and walk away and go back to doing something different, because otherwise I'll just frustrate myself and then imposter syndrome dips in. And then I'm just like, what if I was never good? What if all those other days were flukes? And but I work better under the wire. Like, I'm sure it stresses Fife out, but I do, like, I'm trying to remember, because Happy Astronaut's getting its first issue published soon, but we have like probably 3 stories that we have completely drawn and written, kind of like using that to get the hang of our character. And the first one that we did, we're like, yeah, 24-page issue, easy. And I think I had a week off work and I think I got 18 pages done.
Wow.
In 7 days.
It was pretty amazing.
So I work better when I have to do it. And I wish that that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
You also work better when you just can work it. You don't have the interruption. You don't have the other obligation like work.
Yeah, like a job.
Like stupid work.
I hate work.
Now, we'll still pose the same questions to Matt Fife there, who is primarily a writer, but I think that could work with writing as well as.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So please speak on that and you can answer on that aspect.
I like to think that I don't need a deadline, but if I don't have a deadline, I don't get it done because I'll just think on it too much. But with a deadline, I have to get it done. I have until the 25th to get this second issue done. So Rogers can start drawing it. And by the 25th, I didn't realize it was the 20th. It needs to be done. I might be late.
That's okay. I'm not ready for it yet anyways.
Good. But yeah, I think deadlines are important for me.
We're on self-imposed deadlines too, so it's a little bit less stressful that way.
That's true. That's true. We don't have any editors or anything
Man, this
breathing at us.
talking.
What's that?
This drawing and talking at the same time stuff's weird.
Yeah, I'm very glad that I did the pencils ahead of time, because even when I'm coloring, I'm still just like staring at a screen. And I'm keeping the conversation going, but I realize like, oh wait, I'm just keep pinching and zooming, but I'm not doing anything after that. But I think it'll all just become second nature as we do this more. Um, when it comes to deadlines now, I consider myself a hobby artist. I don't have any, nothing's due. Anything I draw, there isn't a deadline. However, starting last November through March, one of my best friends had some children that were having birthdays, so I started to do some little birthday drawings for them, and I would draw them and based off their interest and draw little cartoons of them. I don't think I publicly shared any of that. It was kind of little personal gifts. I'm sure I'll share them eventually, but it is something that I know that, like, all right, their birthday's coming up in 2 weeks. I should get this started just in case I run into some trouble. But I would find myself, from start to finish, I would have everything done within like 3 days or something. And and then I found out that I'm like, oh, okay, I actually didn't have to rush it, but I still gave myself a little bit of a head start because I anticipated that I maybe wasn't going to complete it in time because I wanted to make sure that I drew them as best as I could. I didn't want to, I wanted to try to grab some of the likeness while keeping it a cartoon. And but giving myself a couple weeks ahead of time to do it, ultimately, once I was into the swing of things, it didn't even matter because I still ended up completing a single drawing piece within like 2 to 3 days. And but yeah, I think with if I had that deadline, I would maybe just be rushing it too much and just, maybe not find fun with it. That I wouldn't be like, I'd be frustrated more, but knowing I had time with it and being like, oh yeah, I'm like, okay, maybe I don't like how that tiger turned out. So I'm just going to spend, a couple extra hours on it. Whereas if I was being like, their birthday's tomorrow and this tiger, looks like junk, but yeah.
Yeah.
There is a follow up here from Nikki where she goes, do you find that you possibly like the quick sketches more than the ones you put far more time into?
Yes.
He had a giant head nod there. Thankfully, we cut to his screen there. He's not on his drawing board at the moment. That was one of the biggest agreeing to that.
Yes, by far.
So you like
Um,
it? Speak on
I
that.
I like to just grab a pen, not even put down pencil marks or anything like that. Just grab a pen and start doodling. And I find that my brain almost turns off and I just enjoy it. It's almost, I don't know if art therapists use that and their practice, but it's like art therapy for me. You're just mind turned off, just having fun. And when you're viewing it as a sketch and not as a finished work of art or something that you're necessarily going to be showing a whole bunch of people, you tend to have less, not anxiety. I don't have anxiety about my artwork, but you care less. And so when you care less, you have more fun. And oftentimes when you have more fun, you get a better product.
Hmm. Yeah, I have the issue where sometimes my thumbnail will look better and that I have a really hard time like replicating the thumbnail into a full-size thing because a lot of people don't understand like there's a huge difference in drawing small and drawing on an 11 by 17 inch piece of paper, especially if you get close to it, because it'll look good when you're close and then you'll move away from it and you'll realize that the entire thing is like skewed because your perspective was off when you were looking at the piece of paper.
Right.
And, but yeah, like, so I'll have like a little thumbnail that I'm like, man, that looks amazing. And then I'll go to draw it and I just can't replicate it at all. So I stopped doing thumbnails. I just don't do thumbnails anymore. That works.
That's a solution. That definitely works. I am finished with this one.
So am I.
Wow.
And I think I'm almost done with mine. So let's take a look. All right. So we're looking at our Webster the Spider Monkey. If you want to hold it up a little further, there we go.
Webster, Spider
Spider
Monkey.
Monkey.
Don't get copyright strikes, bro.
My bad. Can't nobody sing like the Balthazar can sing it.
It's true.
Yeah, if it's not the Three Scoops singing it, Baltazar, when he's not with his band, the Three Scoops, you just can't beat either of those combos. All right,
Wait,
so
Baltazar in a band?
his own band, but the Three Scoops is if you go to the Oh Yeah Comics Skokie page on Facebook, most Tuesday nights, the night before the greatest day ever of the week, which is New Comic Book Day on Wednesdays. So on Tuesday nights, Art, Joe Crone, and Adam Crone will preview the books, and we usually have some of our oh yeah commenters in there in the section, in the comment section. We're all telling jokes, we're having fun, they're singing songs, and Art, Adam, and Joe have created what they call the Three Scoops, and they did a theme song for Agents of Slam that was done by Scoop McMahon, and hold on here. Okay, there we go. And so they would start doing the theme songs and stuff for them. And so Three Scoops is a very small little fan group right now. If you're following those Facebook videos from them.
I haven't got the songs, or the Three Scoops name, but
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I don't know how I missed that. But I do hear the theme. Hey, the theme song for Webster the Spider Monkey is just like a guitar in the background, and then Art just Webster the Spider Monkey over and over again. So I mean, they're doing something.
We always get a kick out of when he does one of his solo live streams, and it just starts with the art.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. That's it's very catchy.
So I'm gonna share my screen, show off my finished product.
Yep, and as you're doing that, I'm loading mine so I can get it to share screens because mine's done too.
Whoa,
Oh,
nice.
There we go.
awesome.
yeah, that's a nice frame in the background there.
Yeah, I like that.
I picked the one with the bleach blonde hair. I figured he would enjoy that.
Nice.
That is beautiful.
I like the Batgirl drawing too. It's a drawing inside of a drawing. Oh yeah.
It never ends. So yeah, we got that saved.
And right now, and all this stuff will be sent over to me so I can post it on the social accounts and all that stuff. Because right now I'm sending mine privately to the internet so I can drop it onto my laptop. While we do that, Fife, did you have some work to show?
Finished one? It's not finished, but it's getting there.
Let's see it. Show us your stuff, Fife.
Where's the
There you
stuff?
go. It's getting there.
Nice.
Oh,
Good
cool.
job.
Looks
And
awesome.
This
it's
is what it
gone.
was,
Oh, okay,
and this is what it is.
love it.
Nice
Beautiful.
work, sir.
Those are some wonderful shadows.
I like the shadows too.
I love Adventure Bug's pose on the bottom there, just how happy he is once he's in
He's so happy.
full on costume. Let's see here. Okay, and we have another comment fan mail here from a very recognizable account. You'll see this name pop up through Oh Yeah Comics a lot. You have Brian Lynch. Brian Lynch, who is the creator of the Hot Wing of Justice. If you follow that on all the social medias,
Yeah.
he's been sketching and doing a lot of cool things. He's part of the Mystery Industry Mondays at beautiful downtown Skokie, where he hangs out with the local artist crew. And he's been doing stickers and I think posters, and he's got some like ash cans, and he's done. I think there's a new comic that's coming out. I'm hoping to get my hands on him. I'm hoping to be in Skokie within the next week or two. I've got some stuff to go down there to buy, so I'm hoping to pick that up. But Brian Lynch, he's awesome, and one cool thing he's become a friend. He owes me a root beer, by the way. He said he's going to treat me to a root beer next time he sees me. So that's one reason to go to Skokie is I have a root beer.
A root beer?
A root beer, yes.
Okay.
And Brian Lynch always makes these themed snacks. Whenever there's like an oh yeah party, if there's a signing, he'll make like he made these Abraham Linkage crispy treats out of fruity pebbles and cocoa pebbles, and they're all decorated and they're super awesome. I was
Wow.
there for the Linkage party, and I know I shared that image somewhere. I just don't know if I'd be able to find it off the top of my head here, but yeah, it is. Brian Lynch is awesome. Brings a lot of cool stuff. Does a lot of cool art, and he's got some fan mail here, which I have to get back to here. Brian Lynch says, "Good luck. Lots of great community in that store. I love the local love for creators. Can't wait to see what you do. I'm sure it'll be great." Fire emoji. So thank you, Brian Lynch.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Brian Lynch.
Definitely.
It's awesome. Oh my goodness, is Troy drawing again?
Superman of Smallville.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think, and I'm gonna. Who was it that asked the question about doodles? So I'm just gonna doodle it. I got a Zig
This-
Escritor, or I guess that's Spanish for writer. So it's a Zig writer. Look at it right there. It says writer on it too. So I'm just gonna doodle, and if it looks good, then I will keep it, and if it looks terrible, then it will be a doorstop.
We're gonna see that live. That was from my friend Nikki that had submitted that. So Nikki, you better be watching because you're gonna see some inspiration coming from your comment here. And
This is your fault, Nikki.
It's all your fault. How could you? Gosh. So I guess like freaking bronchitis, man. The DC Comics at one point had done like a Springsteen Superman, and where it was Superman in a t-shirt. And so I think this Superman of Smallville is like a teenage or young man Superman learning how to be Superman, and it's similar to that Springsteen Superman, but they put him they have like sweatbands and the long sleeve t-shirt, but I like it. I like it better than the spandex version actually sometimes. So I'm gonna doodle that.
now, I only left you guys for a couple seconds, but I am very glad that talking still happens. So you guys are doing good. If you guys are new to this, I've been doing this kind of podcasting, if you will. I just had to grab some props because I'm about to show my finished image here. So I am going to go to the old share screen. You're gonna all see my favorite oh yeah related character.
Yeah.
There you go. Abraham Linkage. I forgot to draw
Beautiful.
the lines. I was going to draw the lines of the hat flying off of the tuna fish there. So I will have to add that now that I'm looking at it. But yeah, so we got some linkage there. Hot Link slapping once again doing a little homage to the or paying homage to, I'll say that for both audiences so I won't get yelled at.
It's beautiful.
And yeah, so I'm following that Batman Robin meme. So yeah, there we go. And I didn't sign it yet, which means I have to finish it because I got to draw those lines and of the hat, being slapped off. All right, so that is that. Cool. All right, and show off some linkage stuff here. So here are the fly smackers that I'm sure are probably in stock at artbalthazar.com. You can have your choice of blue or red, or you can just buy both. They're extremely affordable. And then you got some fly smackers, and they are branded with Abraham Linkage. So you see that the character and the title right there.
Awesome.
This is, if anytime I have to recommend Art Balthazar comics, and this comic was created with Chris Smits as well. And Abraham Linkage, the legend of Abraham Linkage. He is basically a cryptozoic monster hunter, and he goes around and fights all these crazy monsters. What's cool about the back covers of any of Art Balthazar's recent comics of the last year or two is that you get awesome characters. And if I line this up right, Mr. Abraham Linkage is here with us today. So let me grab the fly smacker. Let me try to get the perspective, get the glare off of there. All right, how are we looking? Is it
Looking
what-
hot links, but hot links.
I think. So yeah, Abraham Linkage, absolutely love this character. A lot of fun cryptozoic characters that are in here. We see some taco bats. I'll show that off here. This will be a little ad for Abraham Linkage. Got some taco bats that are flying through the sky. There's an awesome splash page there showing that off. So yeah, this is might be my favorite thing, especially of the recent years. But that's what inspired when we knew we were going to do Oh Yeah as an episode. I'm like,
He
yeah,
also sells his little numbered prints of his paintings.
and that's an awesome segue too, because you're showing those off, and he's done a bunch of different series. Now, are you all caught up, or do you just have this one?
I just have this one. I bought it from him at Cincinnati Comic Expo last year.
Well, if you want a little preview of one of those painting cards, because I actually own one of the original paintings that I have here. I commissioned Art Baltazar to do Silver Surfer and Dawn Greenwood. So here is the physical painting on board.
Nice.
Painted
I
up
love that. That's amazing. That is so good.
and
Is
you
that a
go to
piece
the-
of plywood or something?
It's a 16 by 16. I don't know wood, so let's just say yeah.
Okay.
Wood.
That looks like
Wood.
real wood, no ply, just wood.
Yeah, this is some wood. I'm looking at here. There's no other. I don't know.
See, I thought
don't-
it would just be like a canvas or something, but
I'll show a canvas
awesome.
later here, but yeah. So this is Silver Surfer and Dawn Greenwood, and I had commissioned this, and you can go to the Oh Yeah Comics YouTube page, and our famous cartoonist says things, and you could see him paint this, I think, over 2 sessions. But he does this with a lot of the commissions. He's done a lot of paintings, a lot of paper commissions, and so yeah, I knew I had to bring that to the table. Now, you did mention a canvas. Now, I do have a canvas painting that's right behind me. It's been over my shoulder. All right, here we go. This one I got recently from Franco at C2E2, leading into, and I know I'm holding it backwards.
That
the
painting
camera-
sucks.
This is the zoom camera reverse, so I had to turn this around because so he posted this probably about a week before leading into C2E2. I saw this, I'm like, I absolutely need this. And when I met up with Franco on Saturday, I was there for Saturday, Sunday. I told him, I'm like, if that thing is there on Sunday when I'm leaving, then it's mine. I'm going to buy it. If it's gone, then it was meant to be. I'm glad for whoever had purchased it. And come Sunday, it was sitting there calling my name. This is Taste the Spider Rainbow, an original painting by Franco. This is one of his painting therapies, as he called it. And
That's awesome.
yeah, it's just an awesome conversation piece. It's so bizarre and beautiful at the same time. And yeah,
Something
yeah.
else that Franco had said one time on one of these things is how he cannot stand just to do like one style. Like he enjoys to experiment with different styles. And I think that that's really, really cool. I kind of feel the same way about that, if you're not changing anything, if everything's always the same, then you're not learning anything new. You don't know what you're missing if you're not trying different stuff. So
Yeah.
I think that's compared to like some of it, he had like a thing that was like all the Justice League characters, and it was huge. It was the Justice League characters on what is the Justice League satellite called?
the Watchtower.
Yes, on the Watchtower. And it was gigantic. And there were some characters that even after reading Justice League my whole childhood, I'm like, I didn't even know some of them. But to see the style from that and then over to this, it's cool. He seems to be keeping that exploration. So it's maintains that the childlike fun to it and everything.
When I do that kind of stuff, it looks like total garbage until I get the hang of it. And
Well, that's
then I
okay.
can then I can work on it and then make it look better. And then I'll go try another style and it's back to garbage.
That's all right though, right?
Yeah,
as long as you're having fun with it.
right. I do have one little card. We
Oh,
got
yeah.
we got Art Baltazar to draw Happy Astronaut.
Ah,
That one, it's one of his little crayon drawings. Turned out really cool.
Oh, yeah, man.
And then, yeah, he has a good
Alright.
one.
There it is. There it is.
Beautiful.
show it again, Fife.
Give me, I'm gonna pull it out,
I missed it.
the picture.
Yeah.
Ah,
There we go.
Thanks for clarifying.
That's from Marty.
It's awesome.
And then I got another one from Scoot.
Yeah, the
That
scoop.
really makes me happy.
Yeah,
that is
when, when Scoot drew that, me and Fife looked at each other. We were just like, maybe Scoot should be drawing this book.
and he did the whole thing holding it like he's stabbing the paper. I don't know how he can see what he's doing through that, but
Fife asked him after their panel, like, that's even how he signs like checks and stuff.
Yeah, it's
It's awesome.
yeah,
I
Eric
wanna-
Larson does that too. He holds the pencil really weird, or his pens and everything really weird.
See,
There
I-
must be
I
some
do-
sort of a genius, artistic genius thing.
I've met
associate-
people that'll like cradle it between their fingers,
Uh-huh.
like do that thing, and that weirds
Uh-huh.
me out. But I couldn't imagine.
Weird you out.
I just want to see, Scoot eat a bowl of cereal because, like, just imagine, milk flying all over the place.
I don't even want to know how he holds a spoon.
Speaking of Scoot McMahon, showing off stuff from Art Franco, I have a commission that I have a theme going on. I usually get one a year from a selection of artists to do Swamp Thing and Man Thing. And I recently had Troy do it, and I showed it off on the recent Crimson Cowl Comic Club podcast, which is episode 262, I think. I'll show it off eventually here, but we're not, Swamp Thing's not the topic here, but I do have to show this because it's Scoot McMahon. He loves wrestling, so I just said, hey, just put them, Swamp Thing, Man Thing in a wrestling theme. And this is what he came up with. And he's got Man Thing,
wow.
crashing through the bottom of the ring there, and you got some classic sweatbands on Swamp Thing, and there's tons of stuff going on in the background, and weapons and chairs flying, and there was just so much going on in here. It's just, yeah.
Anthony, after showing that, I really appreciate if you never show mine.
I'll save it on a different episode. I'm not going to put them side by side. So. Nope, yours was hilarious in a very hilarious way.
Man,
I gave praise to yours on the podcast, so I've already done that. So, all right, so that was that. I covered that. Fan mail. I did get a text in late, so I think we're probably going to be wrapping up here. We didn't really discuss what we're going to do, but we kind of finished some of the drawings. Feel free to show off some more as you go on, Fife, and anything else that's going on. But I'm gonna go into the inbox here. My friend Leslie. Now this one, we're cartoonists by night. This is focusing on cartoons. Which cartoon do you believe should be turned into a Broadway musical, and why?
Oh,
She
Um,
is
some-
a theater major and graduate and all that stuff. So I understand, musicals are her passion in Broadway. So which cartoon do you believe should be turned into a Broadway musical, and why?
Adventure
Um,
Time.
Here we go.
And the reason is because it's already a super musical cartoon, and it has that really cool, like, overarching story that takes, 10 seasons to fully unwrap. So you just compress it down. It'd be awesome. Plus, like, it'd be really neat to see how they do, because Broadway musicals always have like really cool ways of doing like special effects and stuff. Like, I remember seeing stuff from the Lion King one, and how it almost looked like cardboard cutouts that they were using and stuff. And it'd be neat to see how they do Jake, like, since he can stretch and all that kind of stuff. And they would have to get, what's his name, Tom Kenny, the voice of the Ice King. just cast him on Broadway. It'd be perfect.
I'd be down for that. I'll give my answer here, and I don't think, because I first tried thinking, what's my favorite cartoon? And that just might be the original Ninja Turtles cartoon. And every time Ninja Turtles has a different iteration, whether it's a different animated series, a different comic series, a different movie, like every one to me is just excellent. Everyone is awesome in their own special way, and it just continues to go on and can reinvent itself. And now I'm trying to think, have the Turtles ever sung other than they did their tour? They did that like
Coming
live
out of their
action.
shells, man.
Yeah. So can we take that to Broadway? How about that?
Yeah, I want that. They need to release that on vinyl. I put a call out for it.
It is one of the weirdest things when you search them doing that on the Oprah show. Interview gets really weird.
Back in the VHS days, I think it was my copy of the second movie, Secret of the Ooze. I think it had like after the credits, it had like a promo video for the Coming Out of Their Shells tour, and it was like backstage access, and it showed them and stuff. It was so awesome.
Yeah, so let's bring them to Broadway. They've already crushed the arena scene, so I want to bring the Ninja Turtles to Broadway. So, and
Yeah.
hopefully less accidents than the Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. So, all right, how about Troy or Fife? Do any of you have an answer to what cartoon should be a Broadway musical?
I don't.
I am not educated on musicals, so I don't know what's needed for
Well,
a good
let's-
musical.
We'll change up the question on if when you say what's your favorite cartoon, what pops in your mind?
Animaniacs.
Batman the Animated Series.
Ah, yes, it came on right after
Dude,
Animaniacs.
that'd be a good Broadway musical.
What if there was a Broadway musical, but it was just all those Disney afternoon theme songs, like Rescue Rangers and Chippendale Rescue Rangers, and then Darkwing Duck, and
Oh, man.
what other ones were there? And that's just all they performed was just the theme songs.
Yeah, but see, if you do Batman the Animated Series as a musical, then you
We can
get
do
to
that
have-
too. But go
You get
ahead.
to have Batman singing a song called "I Am the Night," and he's all like, "Oh," it'd be great. And Two-Face would be in there. They could just take the episode, the Freeze episode, and make that into a musical.
That
Okay.
Freeze episode is so good, though.
Heart of Ice.
Yes.
Oh, God, dude, so good, so good. That's what I went out and got a really crappy old CRT TV, hooked up a PlayStation 2 to it. I got the complete series.
Oh,
Oh,
Nice. I think I have something similar.
I've been working my way through that for background noise. Because I have to have something that I can listen to at least while I'm drawing.
Hmm.
cool. All right, well, that covers the fan mail. I want to thank everybody who had reached out to talk about Oh Yeah Comics, those who've submitted questions for our panel here at Cartoonist by Night. That was awesome to see that. It was cool to see in the progress. It's the first time I've ever participated in kind of a group drawing session. This is the first time I'm kind of showing my art, in real time. And it was quite the experience. And I was once again glad that I did the pencils ahead of time. I'm hoping to get to a point where I can sharpen the skills and start to just kind of come up with an idea in the moment. We are continuing to see a bonus sketch here from Troy, going off of the Superman of Smallville, and we had the Webster drawing there. Now, these drawings that you're doing, what does Troy do with drawings that he's just kind of drawing for fun? What's going to happen to these?
Well, the plan for these is going to be to start a eBay page. But generally speaking, I have just been holding on to them and waiting for the next convention and then selling them at the conventions. But since we're doing this and there's a bit of an outlet for it, I'm going to do an eBay page, and hopefully this will not be at the next convention that I'm at.
What's the next convention you'll be at, Troy?
Tidewater Comic Con in Virginia Beach next month at some point, May something.
I've got
Is it
all
May
the
now?
I've got all the details, so we'll get to that. But so I've got you covered. So
I think
mean,
I'm pretty much
Russian.
done.
say that again, Fife.
Oh, nothing.
Okay.
Ignore me.
All right. So let's
I think
and Rogers, were you doing any secret drawings, or are you all wrapped up too here?
I have not been doing anything. I've been done. I've just been watching Troy draw that and how he's all like, "Dude, I'm just doing this as a sketch, nothing major."
You know, as I'm reading the fan mail and going around and watching screens and making sure everything's still running and everything, I just noticed how your project, Rogers, is behind you now as your wallpaper. Yeah, so that's pretty that's pretty awesome just to
got
have
that is
that.
cool.
It's pretty great. I'm happy with how it. That's probably the best Brother Bear I've ever drawn.
Oh, it's great. But yeah, we will all eventually talk about. Oh, hey, we do have a Patrick shirt there that Troy is wearing. I do have a Patrick shirt that's hanging up here in the back as well. But yeah, here we go. We're taking a look at these drawings here that
Man,
Troy has produced here at
Beautiful.
Cartoonist by Night.
This one
that Superman
You
one's
really
almost as good as your Super Shredder.
can't see very much of it though. There's a lot to be said for varying line widths in a drawing.
I like his
So-
smile.
Varying line
Yeah.
width. Varying line
Well,
width
That's
was going to
that's
be
not really me. That's
Turned out great.
varying line widths was going to be the name of the show, but we're like, yeah, Cartoonist by Night.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I tried a third time to say that joke and it landed. So
It did perfect. Where would
And
we be without you?
Fife, how you doing over there?
Oh, let's see.
Are you writing a script for us that we're going to read? You gonna
Oh
show it?
no.
Oh, okay.
Man,
Here, I'll share
do
my
they still
screen. I
do
think it's
20
done.
do-
It's
do they-
done-ish. I'll go with done-ish.
Done-ish.
But yeah, once again, we haven't really talked about how long this was ago. We just kind of play it out, naturally, let the conversation flow. And so, yeah, it seems like we're coming up here. Nice.
Beautiful.
The transition. The only thing that's missing, and I think it's missing in the original drawing too, is where did their vests go?
He's taking his vest off in the second one.
Yeah, but where did they go?
Maybe it turned into his cape.
Well,
Do you
if
think?
you look back in
Maybe.
the Batman 66 with Adam West and Burt Ward, Batman hands Robin the Bat Shield and he folds it up and then he's going to tuck it into his belt and behind his cape. But the camera was wider than they thought. And you just see him slowly set it down on the ground. But he did a big, you just YouTube it, you'll find it. But he just has the shield. Like if this previews catalog was the shield, he was like real big, like he was gonna tuck it, but then you just see him kind of throw it offset a little bit. So yeah, that's what probably happens where they
Probably, yeah.
very heroically take that off and then they just kind of tuck it off to the side there. So
It worked.
cool,
You know,
cool.
speaking of Batman, is one thing, this is not related at all, but one thing that's super wild to me is until 1989, the only real Batman that we had was Adam West. And he's probably like arguably the worst representation of Batman, like based on like the comic book character, he's not
How
like dark.
dare you,
I
sir.
like him just fine, but I'm just saying, like, if you look at the comic books and then look at Batman, you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
not great. People actually got
Not-
mad about Michael Keaton. They're like,
Really?
Mr. Mom is playing Batman? And I'm like, have
I
you seen
do-
the other guy?
I do vaguely recall hearing about that, but I didn't know who Mr. Mom was at the time because I was like 9 years old. So I don't think I had ever seen that. All I cared about was there's Batman and it looks really, really, really cool. And,
Yeah.
but at this point, after all these years of gritty, brooding Batman, I am
totally ready for some more campy Batman.
Yeah.
I like the what's the James Tucker animated series, Brave and the Bold, Batman Brave and the Bold, and it had Diedrich
Bader.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the guy. Him as the
Rex
voice of
Kwon Do.
Batman. Man, that was wonderful. That show was awesome. Not to take anything away from Batman the animated series, but I don't know, like, you gotta have a palate cleanser after years and years of all of this dark, broody, grumpy, I can't allow myself to be happy because mom and dad got shot. Kind of Batman. It's good to have a little bit of, camp to it.
One of the best books that's coming out right now is Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries.
Right on.
That's plenty of camp in there.
It's
I
good.
love that book.
But as far as gritty goes, Robert Pattinson knocked it out of the park, man.
Yeah. Yep.
The Batman was so good. It was so awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay,
It
unpopular opinion.
focuses
Unpopular
a lot.
opinion. I thought it kind of reminded me like Batman was like the weird cop that came to work in cosplay that nobody liked.
See, that's what I like, because he's like a master detective, but in none of them, in all the movies, he doesn't do anything detective wise. He's just like,
Right.
yeah.
And on this one, he's hanging out with the other detectives. He's like, pass me those donuts over there, Ramirez.
Hey, can you work for me next Friday?
That's right.
I got a thing.
My
Can we
kid's
trade shifts.
Fellas, I have to check off here. I gotta check out.
All right. Do you have time for the quick plugs, or you have a heart out?
No, I got time. If I don't want to stop you guys if you want to keep on going, but
Your plugs are first, so I can cover that, and then we'll casually wrap up. So we'd all finish our stuff. It was awesome seeing this happen. We didn't really know what was going to happen outside of the scripted intro, and just kind of throwing it out there. Thanks to all the fans who had wrote in, that helped the conversation flowing. Obviously, with the awesome topic of comics with Art and Franco and the rest. And we're definitely going to be talking more comics down the line. We'll have them on the show, and we're just going to naturally have more stories about that stuff. And in future episodes, we'll get into the meat of how we became Cartoonists by Night, as we didn't have much time jumping into our contribution to the series and the comics as a whole. But we will get to that, because we're gonna hopefully have many episodes for years to come. But let's jump into the plugs. We have Troy here, Troy Dungara, who is the creator of Kid Slapshot.
Troy Donagara.
Donagara, yes.
Donagara. Hey, it's me.
So what we're gonna see here in the share screen is a brand new comic that came out the day after day before we're recording this, rather. But it's out there. Ask your local comic shop. Check out the Keen Spot website to see if some are left. They're selling, so that some of these covers may not be available. But so yeah, there's multiple covers. As I show these, Troy, if you kind of want to talk about it and talk about what this issue is to sell Kid Slapshot to anyone who hasn't read it before.
All right. Kid Slapshot is the last living human from a planet of monsters. And he ends up, by the time this issue starts, he is on Earth. And but he's still got monster problems, because the guy that gave him the power to come to Earth decided to go ahead and dump all those monsters on Earth so that they could eat some people. And the first big baddie is going to be Zomboni. Zomboni is a giant zombie weremoose. And hey, Anthony, since this is just an all yeah thing, let's show all the all yeah related.
That sounds
just
like
the
a
all
plan.
yeah related guys.
So you mentioned the Zamboni character and the moose, so there we got it. We're gonna go to
He's got a lot of snot. That's Franco. Franco drew that. He didn't have time to color it, so I got to color it, which was pretty intimidating. But I posted on the I Like Pink website earlier today that once I got over like the imposter syndrome of what would Franco do? This has to be like Franco. I think it came out pretty good once I got over that.
Yeah, and that the image of this cover does not do it justice because that's a hollow foil.
Yeah,
That
it's
thing is
cool.
Beautiful.
I don't have any copies myself. I wish that I did, but
They didn't send you any?
they did. But I, as a general rule, whatever comps, for the artist, I send out my comps, and in this case, they had only sufficient for the comps.
Gotcha.
So, but
Hmm.
yeah, I could have been greedy.
Ooh,
That's Alejandro Rosado Alero art, and got
Beautiful.
his look at me, I'm pointing at it as if people can see what I'm pointing at. Got his character Alley Cats on there, and his website's also on there for his signature, aleroart.com.
so
He's
good.
awesome. This is the second Kid Slapshot cover he's done. I love his artwork. He's amazing, and he is all yeah creator, sort of. He goes like at the C2E2, he's tabling with the guys, and I think he and Art are pretty tight, so he's all yeah awesome as well.
Yeah, he tabled with them at Cincinnati Comic Expo too.
Did he?
He's
Yeah,
awesome.
he's something else, especially when he grabs the watercolors on those brush drawings of his. He's something else, man.
And speaking of something else, you can see Troy at an upcoming appearance at TidewaterComicCon.com. That is going to be May 20th through the 21st of 2023. And that's at the Virginia Beach Convention Center. You're going to see people, as long as subject to change, but the likes of Tom Welling, Adrian Palicki, Amanda Connor, and Jimmy Palmiotti. You got Dan Parent from Archie Comics. Sergeant Slaughter is going to be there. You got the famous cartoonist George Clooney. I mean, Art Baltazar is going to be there, as well as Troy, the creator of Kid Slapshot. So all of that is happening. Virginia Beach Convention Center, May 20th, 21st, TidewaterComicCon.com. And then you have a website, tunesbytroy.com. That's tunes with a Z. And then go tunesbytroy.threadless.com to grab a black and white shirt, a colored shirt, a Kid Slapshot shirt. You got stickers, magnets, Kid Slapshot, Cartoonist by Night, Super Turtles.
And giant coffee mugs.
Jeez, that mug's huge.
So if you got to
It's a
go,
pretty big. There's two sizes, but only one size that's sufficient. The giant.
I need
So
to get
thank
one of
you.
those.
All right,
Looking forward to
fellas,
this.
this was fun.
Cool. And
Thanks for having me, Anthony.
Yep,
The
no
Matt.
problem. We
Bye,
just got-
guys. I'll check you later.
Yep,
See
just
you
got the
later.
awkward goodbye here. Just everyone talking over each other and wondering, wait, nope, you got to hit this and you got to leave. Nope, we can still hear you. What's going on?
gonna-
Where is he?
I miss you already.
I miss you guys so much.
Hey, we need
Farewell until next time, fellers. Fare
needed
thee
to-
well.
we needed a swear word.
Looking for the button. Found it.
We
Bye.
needed a-
Bye.
Bye.
we needed a swear word so we could use our special curse button for the episode. And when he said I miss you so much, and now I just said it too, so we're gonna throw in some swears there.
Oh, see.
My favorite thing is that Troy is such a nice guy that he thanked us for being allowed to be on his own show.
Yeah, that's a little tease.
He's a
to what-
sweetheart. I love that guy.
We're eventually going to have Cartoonist by Night be, a guest on this show as we talk about how this happened. But I thought it'd be fun just kind of jump into topics that everybody kind of knew about, and they'll kind of learn about it eventually. But yeah, that is quite interesting to just be like, oh no, yes, you're welcome. Thank you, peasant. Go along your way now. I say that because he was just at a Ren fair, so I can call him peasant.
It's true. That's one of the rules.
So yeah, as we kind of wrap this up here, we'll kind of go down the line here for continuing the plugs. I had this at the top, but cartoonistbynight.com. You are watching this on YouTube, so hit the like and subscribe, and then the bell for notifications. I think that's what we're supposed to say now because we're YouTubers.
Slam that bell.
Yeah, smash that bell and all that stuff. And but yeah, cartoonistbynight.com is going to have lots of links, quick little profiles of us and how to find, those links for Troy, links for things I'm about to talk about as well, but links to the Twitter, the Facebook, the Instagram, and most importantly, the YouTube, because that is how the show is consumed. So yeah, cartoonistbynight.com. And if there's any issues with it down the line, cartoonistbynight@gmail.com. If you see something not working for you, my first time working with a .com. Um, so yeah, we'll get there. Speaking of .com, I am Anthony and I am part of Crimson Cowl Media. So if you go to crimsoncowl.com, which is run by the Crimson Cowl Media founder, David Gloyd, and David Gloyd and his son, David Gloyd II, are doing original web comics on crimsoncowl.com. And so they're doing writing and art chores and lettering and doing stuff that you can only see at crimsoncowl.com for original web comics that are based off of David Gloyd II's RPG campaigns that he does. So
Nice.
there's a couple chapters that are up there now for free, absolutely free. crimsoncowl.com. They also have the Crimson Cowl Comic Club podcast, which is basically where I come from. I am the host of the Crimson Cowl Comic Club. It was a physical club at a storefront. And since its unfortunate closing a couple years back, we decided to keep the club going. And thanks to Zoom, we continue to meet almost every single week. We have over 260 episodes. And on Crimson Cowl Comic Club, you can find us on iTunes and especially on YouTube, because we do a lot of show and tell stuff. So the YouTube versions of the episodes, those don't disappear. The iTunes ones, we only have so much room for a free account, so we have to delete some of the older ones. But it's a weekly comic book review podcast. There's a lot of different tastes, a lot of different genres, and everything that we talk about there. We do club discussions on books, weekly reviews, both new and old. We dive into these giant preview catalogs and talk about the books that that we're excited to buy and everything. And yeah, we do a lot of fun stuff. And starting in 2023, we started doing guests, and that's what led to Matt Fife joining and to talk about what these guys are going to plug very shortly. I had Troy on the podcast. You can see those videos up there at Crimson Cowl on YouTube. And we have many more guests down the line that are excited to be on there. And that led to this very show, Cartoonist by Night. So those are my plugs. I also have hobby artist accounts at Anthony Latch on Facebook and Instagram. That's LAATSCH, which is right here, if that actual name stays on the final video.
Other side.
Other side?
There we go.
I'll just do this.
Got it.
It's right down here. On my side, it's over here. So yes, thank you. So yeah, that is how you can reach me. And those are my plugs. So let's jump it over to the writer, Matt Fife. Let's give some plugs on where people can find you.
Mostly you can find me on Facebook, just under my name, or you can look up Happy Astronaut, which is a comic I write and Rogers draws. I have a Twitter account, but I don't really use it. And that's about it.
And Happy Astronaut, we'll be talking about in the Crimson Cowl Comic Clubs, because I do want to get both of you on there when it's going to be in the official pre-orders catalog, because it will be available through KeenSpot later this summer. So it'll be exciting. We'll definitely be talking about here on this podcast when there's more to be shared about it. So yeah, any plugs for you, Matt Rogers?
I am on Twitter at Matt_Rogers42. That's where I do most everything. I have a Facebook that I don't really do anything with. I have an Instagram, but it's like kind of locked down and I don't really do anything with. And yeah, just look. I think our first issue is going to be in stores in August, which means that it's going to be in previews in June.
Yep.
Correct.
That's already been given. So that's definitely going to be printed in there. And I'll be buying a copy of that to be like, oh my God, we did it. It'll be awesome.
It's awesome seeing the dreams come true. I was a big supporter of the crowdfunding edition, and we'll probably have a Happy Astronaut centric, topic here as we go on with Cartoonist by Night, so we can dive deep into that, get people to know about it and check out the covers and, help support the, 2 new comic creators, making some dreams come true. So
Stop barking.
cool, cool. But yep, this was fun. I think everything worked out the way we had hoped. Still recording and we're still standing. We lost one member, but he had to go off and probably go sell his eBay drawings and make millions off the original art there. So
Yes.
yes.
Good for him.
So yeah, that is going to be it. We're going to continue to improve this podcast as we get with the drawing screens and figure all that stuff out. And I was trying to think of what we could do for the closing line, but all I can really say is, you know what, the sun is starting to come up, so it's time for us to go back to our jade. And I screwed it up. A scripted line, we'll cut that out. I probably
Yeah.
will cut it out.
Just that's all good.
So here
The
we go.
sun's coming up.
The sun is coming up, so it's time for our day jobs again.